Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Koki Otaku. Today, with us, we have a very special guest. They are the voice of Kiruko in, I'm gonna say, the one of the best anime this season. It is Heavenly Delusion, or if you're looking for in Hulu, it won't appear as Heavenly Delusion. It'll be Tengoku Daimakyu. I don't know why they never changed it, but they also voice Lemon Irvine in Mashle, Magic and Muscles, and Danika in Pokémon Journeys, the series. So please give it up for Anjali Kunapaneni.
Kunapaneni.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. I butcher it. Yes.
I was ready to say it. I practiced it so much.
Hey, you got it perfectly.
Thank you so much, Anjali, to joining us tonight. Super cool to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go straight to the main talk. Heavenly Delusion, one of the top series going on this season. I don't know anybody saw it coming. It will be the top ranks. And for the first time, I see Hulu not only uploading the episode original language sub, like they're almost simultaneous dub very close to right now, like something they never done before. How does pairing dubbing this series of Heavenly Delusion with your character of Kiruko?
It has been crazy. I mean, before I started the series, I also hadn't heard of it. I hadn't read it. I've since read it. I have all the manga somewhere in this room, and love the series so much. But I hadn't heard of it, and so I was also very surprised and discovered how good the writing was and how incredible these characters are as I was getting started recording. And I think you mentioned, Hulu's been dropping these episodes pretty close to the Japanese. We've been working really, really hard behind the scenes to keep that turnaround pretty quick. It's not quite a simul dub, but it's pretty close. And it's been a lot of fun. I owe most of that to I just have an amazing scene partner, which we don't record together, but I hear him most of the time when I'm recording. Jonathan Leon, who plays Maru.
Yes.
And he's amazing, and so getting to be in those scenes with him, it's so much fun. Yeah, it's really great. I've loved the process.
By the way, Jonathan was with us in one of the previous episodes. He will be back very soon with us, hopefully in a live. So get ready, guys.
That's super exciting!
Yeah,
I love him. He's fantastic.
But confirm. I mean, if you can confirm, you guys are done with recording all the episode dubs, right?
Yes, we are. We've wrapped up, and I think the dub is up to episode 9. I think.
Yes, as today probably.
Yeah,
it's 3 episodes from the subs right now.
Yeah, and we just have a couple more episodes to go, and I think the Japanese has already completely released. So we're just catching up at this point. But we have finished recording, which was very, very emotional for me, because this character, I mean, not only the fact that they just go through such an intense journey and so many twists and turns with their story and their backstory and the adventure that we go on, that is both emotionally and physically taxing on both of these kids. I think over the course of it, I've just grown very close to Kiruko, and so to say goodbye for now, maybe, I don't know if we'll get more, has been very, very emotional, but I'm very grateful for it.
Let me drop the warning. We're going to spoil here. We have to. This is the only chance we can go.
If it's the manga, I'm caught up on the manga. So.
I was with anime spoiler, but if you want to take it that far,
please
it's up to
me.
You. But heads up, guys. Hulu is on Hulu, owned by Disney International Rights. In America is Hulu. Mature audience. Parents advise this. Be very careful with this series. Even this looks beautiful, looks interesting. Oh my God, we're going to talk tonight about some very deep moments that they have in this
Sensitive
series.
issues, yes.
Like there was one of the last episode that it's not dubbed yet, but when I saw the social media, I had to run to see what the heck happened, and Kiara and I had the same reaction, like, oh my, what happened here? So if you had to describe this series, how would you describe it, Anjali?
I think it's really interesting because we have had a lot of like sort of post-apocalyptic media, like, you know, books, TV shows, movies, a lot of this exploration of like humanity and like survival, and a lot of themes in like a society where society doesn't exist anymore. And I think for this show, it's interesting because I feel like one of the things that I love about it is there's never like the need to explain. We're slowly discovering details and clues, and like there's a mystery hanging over our heads. But to me, and mainly because I'm, you know, with Maru and Kiruko for most of the story, it's kind of just these kids trying to like get through and like get to the next day, and like still being kids in the middle of that, and their dynamic of just like trying to find some sort of hope to continue on, some light at the end of the tunnel, and like a love that like they build for these people that they find on their journey, for each other, just like, yeah, like I think hope is a major theme throughout it, and so that's something that I really like about it, and I feel like is a good sell for the show. Watch the show because it's depressing and harrowing, but also hopeful somehow in the middle of all that.
Yes. So, my God, this show is just all kinds of awesome. In my opinion, it is very gripping. The fact that you see them, like you said, they have their ups, they have their downs, and it's so real. Even amidst the fantasy that there is, it's just so raw. Like the emotions and everything that they go through. Yes, we're still not going to talk about what the episode that Onyx mentioned just yet. I will talk about what's been aired up till now. How did you feel when you found out that this character was basically the brother living inside the sister's body?
It was really, really interesting because I think like it poses a lot of questions about identity. It poses a lot of questions about self and like, who is this person? Especially when Kiruko goes by the name Kiruko, not by Haruki. Like there's, I think, just a lot of question marks, which I don't want to fully like, because I think there are answers to come, especially based on the manga, but I think it's up for interpretation as well a little bit. So I won't speak too much on that, but just like my initial reaction to seeing that was I found it fascinating because just like as an actor to get to play a character like that where there's so many like levels and layers to it is just like a gift. But getting to that point, and especially episode 3 and like seeing that backstory and how it all came to be was definitely a lot. It was definitely, I was like, Jesus Christ, this poor kid. Both of these kids have been through too much. That is a whole lot of trauma that we need to parse through. Where are the therapists in the apocalypse? Because we need them. But I was really touched by like a lot of the underlying themes of like love and connection with Kiruko, that like drives a lot of Haruki and Kiruko's like goals after the fact in like the present day.
It's kind of late to ask this, but how would you describe Kiruko?
I think Kiruko is a really interesting character because I think well, it's interesting because I think I take mainly, of course, from Haruki, but I think I take a little bit from Kiriko too, because Haruki was such like a follower, but in the sense of like he was just a little kid, and he, you know, would see the people around him, whether that's Robin, whether that's his sister, and like in a world where all you're focused on is survival, I think you cling to the figures that you think you can trust, like the heroes, like the superheroes that maybe don't wear capes, but you are convinced will save you. And then Kiriko, I think, pre everything, before, you know, I think she was very much having to be the realist for the sake of her little brother, and having to be much older than she was, and like be almost like a parent to him in some ways. And so now with Kiruko, like, I think you kind of get a weird amalgamation of that, where, you know, in some ways they're very mature, and they sometimes even fill that role a little bit for Maru. And yet, in a lot of ways, I think Kiruko is very childlike too, and very sometimes naive, mainly hopeful. I think a lot as we think about the journey to find Robin, like clinging to that feeling like someone can save me, this person, as long, if I can find them, everything will be okay, because they're the hero that like saves everyone. Like that's how I get my happy ending. So yeah, I think Kiruko's a very interesting and complex character. I like when they get the chance to just be kind of young and a kid and not have so much responsibility on their shoulders. But I think also there's like a lot of unresolved trauma. So, you know, it's hard.
True, like like I think it was still episode 3, the one you mentioned, where we finally find out that she has her brother's brain inside her, so it's like it's just her brother inside. Again, it's her brother inside her body, and we find this out because Maru came on to her, and we were like, what's going on here? Because she's like, no, it's not what you think, whatever, and we're like, what is it? And then later on we see the what happened to her, like the tragedy that happened to her during one of the races, and then even later on, even much later on, we see her like the scar that's across her forehead because they swapped brains basically.
Which, really quick, fun little tidbit, this episode I think has already, it was either episode 7 or 8, but you see the scar. I think at one point they lift their hair or something.
Yes, like she lifts her bang.
Such a great, anyway, sorry, continue.
Let's go to the darkness, because I want to finish this anime with dark topics. But let's go to the last episode. Oh, not last episode. Right now, episode 13 of Stop is live already. But last week, internet went viral with what happened in episode 12. Many people describe it as very scary, dark, traumatizing episode.
Which, in a show that is as dark and traumatizing as this one is, I think says a lot. So we've been through a lot, yeah.
But for me, it was a drama that I never seen before. Because I hear about studying gore when there's a lot of blood, a lot of killing somebody in front of somebody. But this one, it was traumatizing in so many aspects. We're speaking about
because it was
freaking Robin, which I hated. I mean, we're going to make a spoiler here, but guys, we need to talk about this. And probably, even if you haven't seen it yet, we might spoil you, but going to even get hit with this episode. Robin, something that okay, let's start with so many of the trauma. One of very, very important message that I saw in that episode, that you don't always trust in somebody that you believe. So when you believe you know somebody very well, the person that Robin we saw from episode 1, like a hero, like a great person, we all want to see him down on the 13th foot of the ground. We want to see him dead right now. I don't know how to explain this right now. I'm not trying to go soft on YouTube.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay, so I mean, I didn't watch the entire episode. I saw like the last part because Onyx was like, okay, here, just watch the last part, which is what made the internet blow up, basically. And we see Kiruko having finished her shower, and then boom, no clothes. So Robin just tells her, hey, come over here. They're over here. She goes there, just a towel, and then he breaks out the handcuffs, and he just decides to assault her because
Rape.
why not?
Which the trauma, a big trauma with her, and then during the act, he starts speaking something you just mentioned, personality, how interpretation. That he keep questioning, hey, so what? Tell what you, what I'm doing now. Who am I doing to this? Look at this. So it was so traumatizing.
Yeah.
Did you
Like
see that scene?
before you go, it's like he turned Kiriko's face to the mirror, and he's talking directly to Hiroki. Was it her brother?
Yeah.
Haruki. Talking to her brother. So it's like, here, it's you, but it's your sister's body. So like Onyx said, who am I assaulting here? You or your sister? Because again, it's your sister's body. So here you go, so that you can watch what I'm gonna do to your sister. It's like, okay, guys,
Just
we know
like
who to kill next.
the layers of how messed up it is. Yeah. And I think for me, the emotional and mental manipulation during, obviously that's horrible, but I think the one thing I think maybe is what resonated with people and why it caught people's attention, like you mentioned, because this is a character we've been hearing about and sort of following since the very beginning, is a parallel that's really, really common just in life, with a lot of assault cases. Is it's so much about betrayal. It's so much about people you already know having committed these acts. Like, it's not always like the stranger in the shadowy corners of the, like, I think,
and then that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, what you statistically speaking, the majority of these crimes are going to be by someone you know.
Yeah, and I think it is that feeling of betrayal to just like the most extreme extent is what caught people's attention more than anything. And also, part of it is also having to watch this character that we've rooted for go through something so horrible. I think, like, in any medium, like with any character, like, that's really, really difficult. And so I'm sure that's part of what caught people's attention. But I think bigger than that is you just never expect it. It's so out of the blue, and yet in life, it feels like that, right? Like, you would never expect that. In most cases where it does happen. So
which I didn't talk about that because it really left a very sour, bad taste in everybody who watched this episode. But at the same time, when I watch it, I'm like, there's something important here, important message. I still don't get it. What's the important message? But I feel like there's something very helpful here. Now that you mention it, you're right, because thankfully it's a fantasy, fictional, what we see in the episode, but we all know that fiction is not fiction, that happened in real life in many horrible ways. So it really creates that conscience in people, in audience, to awareness, sympathy on people. So it was a very dark, but it hurts, but it have a purpose, that moment, the way I see it.
And that's what I appreciate that about it, because I think that it doesn't feel gratuitous. Like, it doesn't, I mean, I'm not saying it feels like necessary or justified, because I don't think any, like, in life, it's never necessary or justified, obviously. So I can't say that it's necessary or justified in fiction either. But I think that's sort of the point too, is, like,
they didn't show more than they needed to.
Yeah, in terms of how they handled it, I think they handled it the best that they could. And so I really appreciate that. And it didn't feel like they were trying to, I don't know, there was no message that made me frustrated with how they were treating Kiruko. Like, and I mean in terms of like the writers and the animators and everything. Obviously, what he did was horrible. Robin sucks, but I feel like they handled it as respectfully as they could.
No, definitely, because even if we compare, like you mentioned, if we compare many scenes in the underworld anime hentai,
Right.
there's worse scenario like this, but
Yeah.
those scenes doesn't create the impact that this scene created in the audience. So that's when you see
And
that.
I think there's a risk a lot of times, and I think we see this happen where with scenes like this, you know, the characters can be sexualized. They can be like seen as like wanting it. Like it's for like, you know, fan service sometimes, and that's absolutely not what this did. And so, you know, yeah, I feel like I appreciate that they took care of Kiruko. Like the everyone who was involved in the production took care of Kiruko in the middle of just a horrible like moment in the story.
How did you feel when they first told you, "Hey, this is the scene that you're gonna do"? Like, how do you feel when you found out that news, and then when you were actually in the booth recording
Well, I
it?
think I read about it before I saw or they told me, because I'd been reading the manga just to um, research and prepare. Um, and when I got to it, I was in as much shock as any fan watching or reading it, and I was so upset for Kiruko. But I also was like as an actor and like playing the character, I was just really sad. Like I was really sad that, you know, we'd have to go through that. But part of me was like, I'm gonna try to make the best of this, because I mean, like, I don't think any actor wants to necessarily record these kinds of scenes, but I also think, like, you know, in a story where it is so central to like their relationship with Robin and like part of like their own worldview shifting a little bit, it was really important to get it right. And so I was very lucky with my wonderful director and the wonderful actor playing Robin, that everything was handled really well.
When you're doing these things, and again, because this scene was so emotionally charged, like when you were recording as an actor, do you train yourself to compartmentalize all this so that once you're out of the booth, once you're out of the whatever, wherever it is you're recording, you're like, okay, that happened, keep it there, let me move on with my life, like as if this never happened.
I think every actor has a different answer to this, because we all have our coping mechanisms, and none of us are okay. I think part of the job is to compartmentalize, to be honest, because you can't,
Okay.
you really can't take this away. Like, I've had characters who've like died horrible, gruesome deaths. I've had characters who've like, you know, seen their entire families murdered in front of them. Like, you have like moments where you have to put yourself in the position of just like these really emotionally charged like stories, and then you just have to step away and be a professional. It's weird. I don't know that I have a easy answer for that, besides sometimes
There
I
is
just
no
sit in my
right
car
answer,
after.
honestly. Yeah.
I'll like get out of the recording studio, just sit in my car, like stare out the window for like 20 minutes and then go home, because I'm like, oh, that happened. On this project, actually, it's funny, my director, who I love, Felicia Angel, she was like, every time you die in this show, I'm getting you a Happy Meal. And she delivered. When we finished, I got my Happy Meal. Which made me feel better. But
Which project was this?
Yeah.
for
this.
For
What do you mean every time
Heavenly
you
Delusion?
die?
yeah. I mean, I kind of die. Like, Kiruko dies. Like,
Well-
there are some emotional deaths, you know. You know.
Okay.
Or
You
there
know
was
what?
a nightmare sequence where I died.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes,
Oh,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
I
yes.
died a
That
couple
one,
times.
wow. Okay, yeah. Okay. I thought it was
but-
like, okay, yeah. Okay, never mind.
But I will say, for dubbing, it's a little bit easier, because with dubbing, it's so technical, because you do like each line and you have to like match timing, and it's you're doing like multiple things at once, like you're balancing plates and juggling balls at the same time, and so it's a little easier to be able to step back from it. compared to other medium where like you're just very in the script and you're completely in it and there's no level of disconnect. So I will say that makes it a little bit easier for this show in particular.
The only thing that I know we're all asking, so we didn't care the audience too much about Robin. Now he's in our top number one top list. Like, bring the Titan, bring something to this guy. But we're not going to be
With the hit
in
list.
peace. Yeah, he's on
Hit
the hit
list.
list. We're not going to be in peace until something happens to this guy. And make it rain, guys, because we need to see this happening so we can feel better.
Is this like the biggest role up to date that you've had? Yes or no? First of all.
That I've been able to announce.
Yes,
Ooh.
announce
Yes,
that. No, let's not breach NDAs. But yes or no question.
Well, I guess that's tough because I don't know. By biggest, do you mean like most popular, most like? Because I would say my biggest, if I say like how much time I've spent on it. I have a game coming out like this week that I spent 100 hours recording. So that's probably my biggest. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys check it out. It's Master Detective Archives Raincode. Super. It's a fun game. But yeah.
So the biggest one that's trending right now, then would it be or that's trended?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not good at keeping up with trends, so maybe.
Nah, don't worry, you're fine.
Don't do it.
So
Don't do it.
my follow-up question is, how did you feel when you found out that you landed this role? Like, it's such a
really
big role.
happy.
It's like
I was really, really happy. It's funny. I actually so I started acting like very early days of the pandemic, and most of my VO career has been remote. And I graduated school and like started acting in Virginia, and everything was like very remote. And I moved to LA this year. And it was literally like a few days after I moved that I had the callback for this. And then this was like my first booking that I had when I got to the city. And so it feels very like it was meant to be, kind of. I felt so happy because I went in for that callback. I met the director, who was wonderful. I got to see like a scene. Actually, it was the scene on the ship with Maru and Kiruko, and like the little confession moment. And it like immediately just like stole my heart, and so I was like, I really want this. And so I was like over the moon when I found out, and I was super excited, especially once I started reading the manga and like got a taste of the story. I was like, this is crazy, and I'm so excited to record this. Yeah.
So another one of the very trend in this spring 2023, super funny, kind of nonsense, but very great to detox at the end of the day. We're talking about Mashle, Magic and Muscle, better known as Harry Potter. We have magic, but we have Psycho Mob and One Piece. No, One Piece now.
It's like One Punch Man.
One Punch Man.
But magic.
And you have the main character of Lemon Irvine. So
yeah,
one of our main cast. Lemon is a very fun character. Our protagonist Mash is like this. I love the premise that he just doesn't have magic, but is just super strong. And Lemon is just so in love with him, so convinced they're gonna get married. It's hilarious. I think like characters like her are such a like breath of fresh air, and just like it's super fun to play characters like going off of Heavenly Delusion and coming to this. I think it's funny to talk about because like we don't have to deal with anything too crazy in a show like this, which is nice, and it's just hilarious. And also I love the director on this, Alex Von David. It's wonderful.
Wait, are you recording at the same time, like, or are you recording like Heavenly Delusion and Mashle like at the same time, or did one finish before the other one?
So Mashle is still recording, but there was a period of time where there was some overlap. They're different studios though. But like I meant just like talking about it in this interview and like going from like intense Heavenly Delusion to like getting to talk about Lemon a little bit. She's definitely like a very sweet and like perky character. I like her a lot. She's super fun.
How would you describe this series, Mashle, to somebody who haven't watched it yet?
One Punch Man, but Harry Potter. I completely agree. I don't know who came up with that. It wasn't me, but it's 100% accurate, and I love it. I feel like the setting is so much fun. They have like similar to like the houses. They have like their own like little sections of students. They have their own little rivalries. They have like it's super,
almost even the same colors of houses. Harry Potter.
It's super fun. I enjoy it a lot. I think like I think a lot of people will find a lot of the things that they might have loved from that series in like this sort of context, especially in anime. We've had like some shows about like wizards and witches and stuff, but I love that stuff, and like to see it in an anime is always fun. And then on top of that, it's just super funny, and like I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, and like I can turn my brain off and just enjoy it. It's great.
And the fun of this series, on this world of wizard and witch, so there's only this guy who burned without magic powers. So his grandpa keeping away from everybody, but it's a very positive approach.
Yeah.
He didn't have magic, so his grandpa said, okay, you don't have magic, so you're going to throw physical. So every day I want you to do 100 push-up and live and work out like never. And at the end, the guy is teenager, doesn't have magic, but he's a strong AF. AF for real.
You don't need it. I like the message too. I think it's super fun. Like, you could be the protagonist of a show about magic and not have magic. Of course you can. Why not? If you work hard enough. I like that too.
Going to the school of magic.
Yeah.
Pretending to be magic, but he's doing everything. And it's so interesting because when they walk, like, oh, they teleport to this corner where they didn't walk. He's
just running really fast.
And I'm like, wait, what? Oh, they're trying to fly. Why they don't just jump? And I'm here like, it sounds stupid, but it's true what he's saying over here. It's a realistic approach.
Yeah.
No, but I'm gonna do a little parentheses there, like that one episode where they're playing Quidditch, but their version of Quidditch, where he's just like, well, I don't know how to fly. I'm gonna jump and then just do like the water polo. The water polo athletes, where they'll do like the little umbrella thing. I don't even know what to call it. The little feet thing where
I call it his little helicopter legs.
That, but he'll do it in the air.
Yeah,
it's like all kinds of funny.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I love getting to be a part of like comedies like this. I think that. Because this is the stuff that I usually watch, and so I'm like, I like this. I would watch it if I weren't a part of it. Not to say I wouldn't watch Heavenly Delusion. I would. I just would have to like segment a time for me to watch it to make sure I'm like emotionally and mentally prepared to watch it, and then I can watch a show like Mashle like whenever I want. So with that said, let's stop at that point. What would you say is like your favorite genre of anime to watch, or just in general? What's funny is my favorite genre is 100% sports anime. But I don't care about sports in real life whatsoever.
Fair.
Because I just really, like, to me, I really love, like, the teamwork and camaraderie and, like, the power of friendship, basically, in a lot of sports anime.
That's so funny. Because Giselle Fernandez, she was another one. Giselle Fernandez was another person we interviewed on this channel, and they said that they love sports anime too, and it was because of every single thing you're saying, like the drama, the ridiculousness, the over-the-top things that are going on, and then you get to real sports, and it's like, well, that's boring.
Well, here's the thing. I don't even need it to be over the top or anything like that. I think the ones that I gravitate towards are actually like the simpler ones that aren't too crazy. But the reason why I don't care about real sports is you don't get like the entire player's backstory or like a reason to like sympathize with them. Like you don't get their like, you know what I mean? Like the game is just like, okay, they scored a point. Where's the flashback of like their troubled past and like why it's so important that they scored this one point? Like,
how did they come to be on the team? What were their struggles?
What are the rivalries and friendships and the team dynamics? Like what? So
I want to see the side eye or the stink eyes from one player to another.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, it doesn't even have to be like sports, like the sports anime formula, really. Because one of my favorites is Chihayafuru, which is about a card game. It's not like, you know, it's not the same as like basketball or whatever, or like even other things that aren't necessarily sports but like art industries or anything where people have like a shared passion and are like fighting to like, you know, achieve some goal. That to me is like I could watch those forever. I just think it's so cool.
And in that episode with Giselle Fernandez, one of our team members, he's like, oh no, I love a sport because they're ridiculous, they're nonsense. And I'm like, yo, hold it. They're not that nonsense. Many times they have real technical stuff. Well, for me,
I mean, they're well researched. They're usually super accurate. I mean, there's some where they have like superhuman powers, but you know, for the most part, it's pretty accurate, I feel like.
At least a good percentage is accurate with the technical part. I mean, I have seen one basketball anime that when I
Kuroko's basketball,
and I see that they're like, oh, there you go, they run the moon shot, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, okay, guys, that's not technical. Did you guys make it up? Sounds cool.
But that's anime. Anime will give a name to every single move. And then you'll see all the little kids in the school play yard just trying to recreate that and just using the same names. So like that's normal for sports anime.
Yeah, I feel like I have a hard time with like the really fantastical ones, but I have some wiggle room, even if I'm like, is it realistic that a team of high schoolers could achieve this level of skill? No. But, you know, is it like, could an Olympic athlete do this? Yes? Okay, it's good enough for me. I feel like that's my bar. Like, is it humanly possible to be this good? Yeah? Okay.
I know. Prince of Tennis, they have a lot of those name moves. Boomerang shot, serpent boomerang. And one day in a game when I was playing tennis, I made it to go outside the pole and make a hit inside the court. And my brother was like, that's the serpent boomerang! I was like... So, I mean, it's just great when those things happen. But I know, it's fantasy. But moving to another fantasy that is a premiere. It's too early to talk about it, but they make it announced. And I couldn't believe it is coming again and in a great way. And they just make it announced. Fate. So, Fate Strange Fake Whisper of Dawn. Another one of the new anime series which has been announced by Crunchyroll of the lineup of summer 2023. Inspired by video games. They already announced the dub. It will be English dub, and they announced the dub. Anjali, you're also part of the team.
Yes,
what about the
experience? I play Ayaka, who is if you've read the manga, she is one of the leads in Fate Strange Fake. That's okay. But very exciting stuff. It's been announced that the dub. So this is a special that's coming out. And from there, we'll see where we go. But we are premiering the English dub at Anime Expo next week, which is very, very exciting. It's, I believe, on Saturday, so the 1st.
Anime Expo takes place where?
It's in LA, here in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a huge, huge, huge convention.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, I feel like someone said, I feel like someone said it's the biggest convention in the world. I don't know if that's true, but I could believe it. It's a big convention.
Wait, statistics wise, if you know them, like how many people normally attend then?
I don't know. I heard someone
It's
say
huge.
100,000. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know about the 100,000.
Someone Google that, because I don't know. I'm just talking. But it's a big convention. It's definitely one of the bigger ones. Maybe it's the biggest. I don't know.
And the importance of this convention, like Anime Expo, and sometimes there's another one similar in New York and LA. They're so important because this is the moment where the industry they walk in to announce their big announcement for series. So in this case, Crunchyroll going to be making good announcement. I think High Dive also announced going to be Anime Expo. So they all the big industry anime they go in. They have their own panels. They have the panel for industry. So going to be like in one panel. Hey, this is the lineup we're presenting. By the way, in this panel, we're going to have the first 2 episodes, which we're going to close the door. Nobody can allowed to record here, so we're going to kill you. No, not kill you, but we're going to get you record something here. And if another panel, we'll have to just interview what they're doing here. Also, I saw in the news that for the first time in Anime Expo, there will be a panel, the importance of Spanish dub in anime, which is something
that is
new.
So cool. I didn't hear about that. Wow.
Look for it because I got it in the newsletter last night from Crunchyroll, and they're going to be speaking for the first time.
I will be there, so I will see if I can check it out.
It will be interesting.
So the number of attendees in 2019 was 115,000. Oh my god! Like, so I thought 40,000 was a lot. I was like overwhelmed. I cannot
is that the biggest
imagine.
Then? I wonder. I feel like it probably could be. Well, I wonder how this year's gonna look because I mean, last couple of years obviously COVID affected things, but I feel like this is the first year it's gonna be full mass. So maybe we might even beat that number.
Probably, I'm sure they will beat it. It is awesome.
It's gonna be crazy.
I mean, I would like to be there at the same time. Like, do I really want to be in that mess?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm gonna be there doing signings, and I'm scared. It's gonna be crazy.
At least it's going to have somebody going to walk you. Have the guest badge with VIP.
Yeah, at least like I don't have to walk straight through the crowd, but it'll still be crazy. But I'm excited though. I love going to conventions and like seeing the artists there is always super fun, and seeing all the cosplays, and like you mentioned, especially a convention like this, there's so many panels and so many like booths run by like industry folks, and so like it's cool to go see like stuff I'm involved in that I haven't even announced, that I can be like, go get like merch or something for like characters that I play.
So
like
it's not the biggest one.
Oh,
the biggest one. So the biggest one in the world, period, is in Japan. And it's Comic-Con, and it's 590,000 attendees. Then Gamescom, that's in Germany, 335,000. Tokyo Game Show, 270,000. Luca Comics and Games in Europe, 240,000. Again, Japan Expo, 240,000. I don't know how to pronounce that. That one's in France, it's 220, but then we finally get to the US. New York Comic Con, 151,000.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's a big one.
And then the smallest one out of the list, Salt Lake Comic Con, 120,000.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I guess Anime Expo has to get like 10,000 more.
Come on.
Yeah, 10,000 more and you're good to go. Or at least 5,000 more, you're good to go. It's like, why not pack more people in the same place? Like, where are you gonna park? Where are you gonna stay? What are you gonna do? It doesn't matter. As long as
these are questions running through my head too.
Now, when you see the logistic of these events, the map are huge. Right? We're speaking like multiple convention centers in different locations. So it's not like having one place, multiple places with connections or all. But you have a guest badge. There's nothing better than a guest badge. I can speak from experience of that. Guest badge is the best thing from those expos.
I'm just gonna imagine you parking like 10 miles away, trying to get through all that. The next anime that we're going to talk about is, in which Anjali is in, is Pokémon Journeys, a series where they play Danika. I haven't been able to watch Pokémon Journeys, a series yet. Is that, please correct me if I'm wrong, is this the ones that like after Ash retired, is this with the new characters?
This is the final season with Ash. The next
got it.
series, post Ash, if you will, is called
That makes more
Pokemon.
sense.
It's called Pokemon Horizons. So this is our final. These aren't what just dropped. Isn't and I think it dropped either yesterday or today. Isn't the final set of episodes with Ash, but we're pretty close. So this is our final season. And yeah,
So
it's
who is
interesting.
Danika and everything about Danika?
Yes, Danika is one of our Pokemon trainers. She is cool. She's tough. She kind of comes in to guide Ash and some of his friends on a journey to level up a little bit. There's this whole mystery involving Mew. If you know Mew, our little pink
Yes,
Pokemon
of course.
friend. Yes,
Adorable.
that she leads them on this like whole mission that they go on. It's cool.
I was gonna say we're
yeah,
90s
she's-
baby. It was all about Mew.
Oh my
when
gosh,
when the
yeah.
first 150
The first movie,
Pokemon were
right?
announced, and then boom, there's a 151. It's like, oh, we're blowing all of our little minds. Who is that Mew? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
but my at that moment, my sister was in the 4th grade, and she had ordered these from the Scholastics brochures. She had ordered the
Wow, that gave me so many
Pokédex.
like flashbacks.
I know, like throwback. I'm here unlocking everybody's memories right now. But the thing is she in there before my school banned Pokemon because my school was very religious. But before all this happened, yeah, and my mom was like, "The hell doesn't even make any sense. There's just little adorable, cute little monsters, whatever." The thing is, the little Pokedex book, which they still sell them, but obviously it's a lot thicker now. It was till 150, so it was till Mewtwo. So again, it blew everybody's mind when Pokemon the movie, and then Pokemon the movie 2000 came out, and we were like,
Oh gosh, I was
there's
obsessed.
151.
I was
And now we're up to
obsessed.
1,000 something.
Oh yeah, like is it only 1,000? Is it not more? Like,
I'm sure it's more. Like, that's what I'm saying. We're up to like 1,000
it's
something.
crazy.
I-
Yeah. No,
I'm
I was such a I watched the show all the time as a kid, and I watched those movies like crazy. I played a couple of the games as a kid, but not too many. And then Pokemon Go, I feel like it just like revived it all and brought all the memories back, and everyone was super nostalgic.
I haven't get over that. And the Pokemon rap I used to say there are 150 Pokemon, or maybe more,
Yeah.
and we all ignored there may be more.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
don't know, but that's maybe just to
They
feel more-
were hinting it the entire time, and
Yes.
like fools, we just turned a blind eye.
We were
Or also-
kids. We couldn't like process any further than that. By the way, there's 1,010 Pokemon as of
Oh wow!
right now.
I don't know why I thought more.
For us, they want.
I'm sure we'll
Enough.
get to 2,000.
We
at
can't
some
can't
point.
poke a rap 1,010. Remember all of these? It
Do you
took my little
remember-
young mind quite a while to follow along to the poker rap and actually like, yes, I can say all these things, even though in
I'm
the English
wondering.
dub their
I
word
feel like
it
there
was
has to be at
wrong.
least- Oh really?
Yes. So look at it. I remember being when I was a kid, I was like, this wrong. That the name of this Pokemon is not this one. Like they said Poliwrath or Poliwhirl, and then they just
Oh, they showed a
confused them.
different Oh.
No. And they confused the names. Like let's say it was Poliwrath, but then they said it was Poliwhirl or Poliwag. Like they just changed the
Oh.
name. We're like, and I was like, little young me. I was like, they said this wrong. That's not the Pokemon. According to this is not the Pokemon. But yes,
Remember the-
check it out.
My
check it out.
biggest.
I was gonna. You got it.
You did. I was just really gonna say my biggest revelation was finding out that the names aren't the same in Japanese. It took me the longest time to realize
Wait.
that.
Oh yeah. In Japanese, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, so, like I was speechless when I found out. I thought that was crazy.
Maybe I don't know.
I mean,
if you knew
Pikachu
about
stays
it.
the same, so that's what matters,
Pikachu
right?
stays the same. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew about this, but we found out that 2 weeks ago when we interviewed Jason Page that the Pokemon opening song in Japan is not the same, not even close to it. It's even
Oh, is it
similar at all.
not?
No,
That's.
it's not.
I met him recently. That's crazy. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I had actually heard I remember when like YouTube was first starting out all these things, they had put, or I don't know how I came across the original Japanese version. I was like, this is boring. Why didn't they just use the English one, which was so massive and so great? But then little young me did not understand this at that point. So I thought in my mind a Pokemon was originally in English because I didn't know any better.
No, Jason
yes.
Page, he was telling us that, hey, no, so he always said that he's go by the OG. So I'm like, OG, but at the same time, I'm thinking about Japan. No. In the interview, that's my song. I'm the first one to sing it. I'm like, ooh, so you had the first version in English, and then all the dub from the song, from your song, they came to the media. Not even Japan was dub. So people know more the English version than the Japanese in all world.
Because that's the one that went global. But no, when you even listen to if you check out the original Pokemon theme song from Japan, it's got a different animation. It says different things, so it's nothing like the English one. It's two things completely different, and you'd think they were two completely different seasons in Pokemon. That's how different they are. And they even say like whatever they say, it's completely different. One's talking about like the journey, the other one, the English one is talking like I want to be the very best, and the friendship and everything. It's just very different in Japan.
I'm gonna ask people about this who might actually know answers as to why, because I'm curious. That's wild. I assume because they wanted to like do their own thing over here, and especially in the 90s, I feel like a lot of dubs wanted to like, be very American and do their own thing.
And there was it was a very different set of rules in the 90s as compared to today. That's why you don't see, that's why the openings or endings are not dubbed like they were way back when in our time.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of missed that though.
I want to wrap up this episode. That's I want to answer that, but I want to make it as sure as possible because that's like another hour's conversation. So sadly, 1990s and early 2000s, the anime industry, especially in the opening, they were operating different because in Japan, when they make the opening of a song, anime, the song, they will make the song and the studio will own the rights. But they realized it will bring more talent like this K-pop band or this
J-pop in this case.
J-pop, my bad.
Good point.
So it's easier, it's cheaper, but they're going to, because they write it, they're going to own the rights. So they said they decided to go that pathway. Great, they save money, popularity go up, they go very popular with the song, but they didn't think about the copyright and the ownership. So when they go international, when people want to dub it, they're like, oh no, that's not the studio owner. It's owned by this artist, this J-pop singer. And they're like, crap.
That makes so much sense. You kind of just blew my mind. That's crazy. I think the last one I remember is probably like, or on High School Host Club or something. Yeah, that's wild.
So when you look at this, it's like we've kind of gone back full circle with this. When in the 90s and very early 2000s, there was a pirated version of the anime where people would do their own dubs or subs. And like they were like, we want to consume this product, but nobody's producing it legally. Let's do it ourselves underground, and then they would just distribute that. So we actually went to a panel about the whole history of this, which was really interesting in how that led to the rise of streaming products or streaming services such as Crunchyroll, Funimation. Now it's not Funimation anymore, but all of these things. And then that's when they decided, okay, we're going to stop, because the point of us doing this in the beginning was to have a very accessible way of getting that anime product. But now in this
a million
case,
streaming platforms,
right? But in this case, when I say we're coming back full circle, I mean like Onyx said, we on this side of the world where we don't understand Japanese, we still want to consume this in a way that we can sing along to this, we can feel more connected to it because it's going to be in a language that we understand, and not that we're going to read and try to understand to its fullest, and we're never going to really understand it because things get lost in translation. So that's where all the covers and YouTube singers come
like
from.
Amelie
So that's
and
yes, that's what I'm saying. We come full circle because now they're the ones trying to bridge the gap that was originally that was done in the 90s and early 2000s by underground, but now they're just doing it at a platform that everybody has access to.
You're totally right. You're blowing my mind. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, wow.
There's hope. There's hope because right now everything is changing so fast. Right now, they're trying to fix this problem because best example, Belle, the movie 2022.
I worked on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're there.
Belle.
So for Belle, what they did, the owners of the song will be owned by Sony. So Sony was able to dub owning the song in multiple language. And One Piece is another case where they flex the ownership of the song, even that the main song is like big top. They downgraded the owners to the
Piece Film Red,
the One Piece Red movie. I won't say downgrade, but they took it to the dub level instead of solo song, and that way they were able to translate it for the first time in only one language, Castellano Español, as a testing. So they're experimenting with this. So there's hope at the end.
That's very cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect it to be like the standard, but I think like it's very cool for like bigger properties to like dip their toes in that more. Cause yeah, I think you're right. Like there's so much interest out there and there's so much like potential for that. That's super cool. Definitely. But speaking of Belle, yeah, I worked on production for that movie, and the music was all like custom written for the film, and so like when we were adapting, it was really cool. Like the composer was involved. Like it was amazing, and our actress was wonderful.
Did you ever hear? I was blown away in regards to casting for Kylie McNeil.
She's amazing.
Oh my god, she killed it! She killed it. Did you ever get to listen? There's a video on YouTube where they take her singing, Kylie singing, with the original Japanese language, and they'll put them side by side, and how similar it sounds. You almost swear it's the same person. It's like it even sounds so, again, like the pitch and everything, and like the tone of voice, it sounds so similar that you're like, is this the same person but in two different languages? And like, oh no, they're two different people. That's how great the casting was, in my opinion.
She is amazingly talented. Yeah, like I remember we, like everyone on the team, the production team that we were all working on it, we were all just kind of like, she's perfect. Like we were so excited that like, you know, eventually the studio was like, you know, it's always you know, sometimes tough when you have like a completely unknown actor that you want to involve in a big production like this, but they were super excited about it too. Like she was so obviously the best fit for the character, both playing Belle and Suzu in that movie. Yeah, it was really, like, it's uncanny. I totally agree. I think, like, their singing voices are so similar, but also just her ability to, like, be able to match, like, just the essence of that character, having gone through everything that she went through, really just phenomenal.
And also had to admit, before we wrap it up, that movie Belle is one of the game changers for the copyright stuff problem in YouTube right now, because most of the anime series, the last 2 years, every time they upload a trailer, somebody owns the copyright and they ban it, but that doesn't serve the point of a trailer. So Sentai Film they start doing, okay, so all our trailers are going to be not copyright owners, so you guys can move it forward and it can serve a purpose. So yeah, that's all. There's so many changes everywhere with all these owners.
That's so interesting. Wow.
Trust me, I know, because YouTube policy is the worst things can exist. But anyway, let's not start again. Anjali, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have been super awesome.
Thank you for having me.
For those who haven't followed you yet, which social media should they follow you?
I'm pretty much only on Twitter. I'm Here Lies Anjali on Twitter, and I don't really go on other social media.
And
What about your
like always,
webpage?
guys,
And my webpage is Here Anjali, but that one is not here. It's here. HereAnjali.com.
and you guys, for like always, you guys will find the description links, the links in the description down in, damn it, the links down in the description for our Anjali webpage and social media, and for us, like always, subscribe, like I share all our social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Mastodon, VR World, OnlyFans, no OnlyFans, anywhere. We'll see you in the next episode. Sayonara.
Bye.